It has been so dry and warm in Kentucky for quite some time. Matter of fact, we are at a moderate drought status for a lot of portions of the state. But that pattern is fixing to flip wildly. Some models coming in with large rain amounts to end September with. I'm George Herbeck, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky, and I'm going to break down the pattern flip that we're about to see to round out September and head into October with. So let's dive into it. So what I've got up on the screen right now is the projected rainfall amounts from each model. Now, keep in mind, some of these are a little bit more aggressive, probably a bit too aggressive, and some of these are a little bit on the less aggressive side. But one thing I want to point out is that you're going to see every single model is showing at least some sort of rainfall for Kentucky from Sunday-ish into next week. So let's talk about the model runs and see which one might be a little bit more realistic for us. So here's the European model that you have on your screen now. You'll see it actually is trying to show a 7-inch spot in your Somerset. That's probably on the more aggressive side, but you'll see that it's a general 1 to 3, maybe even 2 to 4 for a lot of folks, and that's going to be a lot of rain. That's going to really take down the drought status for us. Here is the Canadian model. Not the best model at handling rainfall or rainfall locations, but it still is showing a 1 to 3 inch zone for a lot of Kentucky. Here is the GFS model, a 1 to 3 inch zone as well. The GraphCast GFS, 1 to 3 inches as well. And here's a blend of all those models that we just showed you. So the average taken in and put into one map, really. And that still is showing a 1 to 3 inch zone. So for those of you questioning or wondering, can we really see some helpful rainfall? Well, this is every single model that we look at right now, all within a decent and respectable range, is indicating some sort of rainfall, with some models being a bit more aggressive and some models not being as aggressive. Let's see what exactly it's looking at here. So what I'm going to do now is go through the European model and the GFS model. We're going to see exactly what it's looking at, what might be a little bit different, and talk about it a little bit. So here is the European model starting Friday afternoon, which is today, of course, as I'm recording this video for you. And we'll take it on through here. Mostly dry Friday, Saturday, maybe a few little pop-up showers here and there, but again, mostly clear. Sunday, maybe a weaker line of storms coming through Sunday morning there. And then as we push it on through Sunday evening, we have another kind of more widespread chance of water kind of being dumped down from the sky there. And then the chances just increase. Going into Monday, we'll see some more rain showers. Tuesday, Wednesday, just kind of a stalled boundary in our area. And here comes a low pressure now. This low pressure is going to bring in a lot more rainfall with it. And the difference between the two models that you're about to see is, up until this point, they're going to be pretty similar. But with the low pressure that we're seeing on perhaps Tuesday night, Wednesday morning is moving in, the European model actually has it just stalling over us. You can just see it sitting there for several hours, going into multiple days before it finally exits. And then another little short wave tries to get going and picking up that low pressure, and then recreates some more showers all the way through Friday. We just went from Tuesday through Friday with almost nonstop rainfall. You know, it's not going to be always constant, but it'll be mostly on with a little bit of off sections in between. That's the European model. And again, just to kind of point out, it is showing a widespread 1 to 3 inches. Again, this is probably way more on the aggressive side. But if we get a stalled low pressure, sure, you're talking about a lot of folks in Kentucky seeing 3 to 4 inches of rainfall. Here is the GFS model's look. Let's go ahead and get that set up for you. And you'll see that it's mostly clear on Friday. Well, a little bit of rain showers tonight, maybe on this model. It's a little bit too close to... When you start getting real close, like for example tonight, the long-range models don't really do too well, or in this case a mid-range model. You want to go with more of the short range. We'll talk about that in a second. And again, here Saturday and Sunday, maybe some brief light rain showers. And okay, here we go on Monday. More rain activity. Clears out a little bit, and then by Tuesday afternoon, more rain activity. And then just some constant rains for a lot of folks. Nothing real heavy, but just more on the constant side for the GFS. Here comes that low pressure that the European model also saw. Let's look on that. The difference here is that the low pressure on the GFS is about 200 to 300 miles north. So that takes the bulk of the rainfall, instead of it being in Kentucky, up toward, Illinois, Indiana, maybe even into Missouri. So that's the main difference there. So a shift of 300 or 400 miles of that low pressure can make the difference. It does also show the low pressure is stalled out. It's just in a different location. So again, it still tries to bring some decent rainfall. So the low end of the zone that we're looking at is 1 to 2 inches. The high end of the zone is probably 3 to 4 inches, according to the European model. And then, oh, by the way, the temperatures are going to look a little bit better as well, because we're going to see more clouds, more rain. Temperatures are going to be a little bit better. I just wanted to take a quick moment to say thank you to our sponsors, Hyper Roofing. If you're in or around Hardin County, make sure you get your roof checked out before we head into the second severe season. You guys know it always happens in the fall and winter time. Make sure you get that roof checked out. Don't be reactive, be proactive. Hyper Roofing, there'll be a link to it down in the description below the video. Right Implement is a legendary Kentucky company that's been around for decades. Make sure you go check them out if you have any outdoor equipment or apparel needs, and they're always running discounts. I could add all of them in here, but they always have so many things going on, changing each month. Make sure you just go check out their social medias and see what they have to offer you, or stop in a store at any of their 15 locations. Once Upon a Child in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and on Outer Loop in Louisville, Kentucky, once again, like Right Implement, has a lot of deals going on. We have posted their calendars, and I'll add it into the video here for you to see. And again, just another great business that's family owned and operated, and just a people that you want to support. Don't forget, you can sell your clothes back to them as well. The same thing can be said for Plato's Closet in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, owned by the same folks. Another phenomenal place for you to save money on shopping for clothes, or go take advantage of clothes that you don't use anymore and sell them back for some cash to help get you some groceries or anything else you might need. Hey, listen, it's hard out here. It's hard out here right now. Take advantage of that. Again, that's Plato's Closet in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. FBI Buildings is new to Kentucky, but they're not new to building pole barns, buildings, residential and commercial, so on and so forth. They also offer free estimates, and they have a large team of really phenomenal engineers. Make sure you take advantage of that free estimate and think of FBI Buildings for any of your projects or renovations or remodels. Thank you to FBI Buildings. You can head to FBIbuildings.com for that free estimate. Thank you to all of our sponsors, but now let's get back into the video. So here are the temperatures for the weekend. Most of what we've seen already, kind of, mid to high 80s, low 90s for your highs, so on and so forth. But here we go. Low 80s there on Monday as your high. Higher 70s, low 80s there again on Tuesday. You can kind of see it for yourself here. Again, timestamps being in the top left there. But overall, much more cool, much more comfortable out there, because, again, we have so much cloud coverage and rain that the heat really can't get through. So our temperatures are going to stay pretty mild next week compared to what we've seen for the last 7 or 8 days here. And this is why I've been consistently telling you guys the end of September, wetter and cooler. It's not really too hard of rocket science there. We might see a brief warm up here, as you can kind of see going through some of the later stages of the model around the September 30th or so, kind of rebounding back to where we were. But a cold front will eventually work its way in to come into October with, as you can see here, October 4th. Cold front moves in, even some 40s showing up. That's way far out, so it might not be completely accurate there, but we do know that typically, on average, once October kind of comes into the calendar, we start seeing things cool down drastically. So it would be really remiss of me to not mention that for you guys. But again, overall, our pattern is flipping, so hang on. I know a lot of grounds are really dry, really hard. Things aren't growing. Some leaves are falling off. We're going to see a replenishment of our environment. Hopefully, we get a little bit more on the higher end. I know some people don't like rainfall, but guys, we need it. And it's amazing to say, even after the record rainfalls we had for the first 6 months of the year, we are now in a moderate to major drought status for a lot of folks in Kentucky. We need that rainfall. I'm George Harvick, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Hope you've enjoyed this video for you. And again, if you did, make sure you leave a like on it and maybe subscribe or follow wherever you're watching at. Thanks, guys.